To give you an example, I have about 1,100 square foot home. My taxes total almost $3,800 a year. My in-laws in Georgetown and Halton Hills pay $2,800 in taxes for a 2,500 square foot home. Also, house values there are much higher than here. My question is pertaining to an economic development plan. Does the city have one? Do you intend to put one in place to bring industry and other viable businesses to this town so that in the long run taxes can be reduced? And the second part of this question is, when is planning department and city hall going to be easier to work with for developments?
I think there has been there's been progress with regards to the planning department and the ease of working with extended hours. Can we do more? Absolutely. I promoted a plan with regards to process mapping the organization and reducing the number of steps and ensuring that the process is the same for each and every question asked or each and every activity, and that's certainly imperative. The taxes are no doubt high. When you look across the GTA and we do a comparison, they're higher. Part of that, as I explained before, is the fact we're an old industrial city, and being a full city with an airport, with a harbor, and with extraordinary amount of industry, historically, we have all of the social issues that go with that. So when you start to lose that employment base, and the fact we started closing in the 80s, we lost about 15 through the 80s and the 90s, and then certainly with the truck plant shutting down, that has certainly stressed the city. But we have to do it by reducing spending and expenses, as well as building our tax base. And there's a variety of ways you can do that.
Thank you. This is a very appropriate and timely question for me. Some people may know that I write a weekly column in this newspaper talking about city issues. It's called Eye of City Hall. And last week, the issue published this morning, actually, was entitled Attracting Industrial Commercial Development and Jobs to Oshawa. And we don't have a chance with the existing highest industrial commercial tax rate in the GTA. If you were a businessman who wanted to invest in a $25 million plan somewhere, perhaps related to our university and all the spin-off industries, your taxes would be $1.3 million a year in Oshawa. But if you moved a mile along the street to Whitby, you'd save yourself $200,000. Why ever would you invest in Oshawa? Why would you bring your investment dollars, your development dollars, your tax dollars to Oshawa when dollars are important in business, and by moving a mile along the street, you're going to save yourself $200,000 a year in Oshawa, or $850,000 a year in Margaret?
As for high tax, I wish we could do something about that, but we can't build our industrial base. At a 4-to-6-year plan, everybody talks about the high dollar. Guess what? In Canada, the dollar is the same. We have to work with the province and start dropping trade barriers with Quebec and the rest of the country. If we start building unilaterally, we can have a lot more jobs here. Look at GM workers who just laid off. The best cars in North America and the best cars in the world. We can't lose these workers like that. That is one of our assets coming here. We have great university students with a lot of good ideas. We have to help them out, small businesses, to grow. If we don't start helping them, we're going to lose a brain drain every time they graduate. If we stick together, we can grow. We have more than enough land this side when the 407 comes in to build brand new factories, and we can start building to the future. So we have in place the factories that will be coming, the airport, especially though the people, the ex-General Motor workers, the young new workers. We have to look at the university and start helping them build brand new jobs. Thank you very much.
When you talk about economic development, you have to talk about it on a regional scale. Now, Oshawa is a slice of the regional pie. And each municipality around us has their own economic development department. They're all vying for the person that comes into it. And we're competing against each other. What you have to do is you have to start thinking first of the whole pie. And then hoping that those people will start to come into the communities and either buy homes in those communities or buy products in those communities. Recently, Pratt & Whitney came to the university to look at the wind tunnel. And they needed to be greeted by an economic development officer from the region who would have taken them around the municipalities and shown them available space, what could go on, what the workforce is like, what we could build with them. And every company that comes to look at something in the university needs to be met by an economic development officer. The people in the room here today probably don't know, but agriculture is the second largest business in the Durham region. It's a huge marketplace. As for the idea of what we're going to do, there was a study done and presented last year called the Community Adjustment and Sustainable Strategy for Oshawa and Durham region. The plan's already here. And as for high taxes, the taxes are high because you've got to service the debt. And 10% of the money that you pay in the city portion of taxes goes to servicing the debt this year.
Thank you very much. Well, the whole strategy really is about growing the base. And that's what we've embraced. Now, I just want to give you some building permit stats. For the first 6 months of this year, Oshawa and residential did $121.9 million, and the town of Whitby, 68.6. On the non-res side, we attracted $259.1 million. The town of Whitby beat us by about $2 million, $261.9. So it's not like they're fleeing to other communities. We're getting our share, sometimes more than our fair share, and that's the way it should be. And that we keep fighting to make sure we get all the investment that we can. You know, I think it's fine to slam the planning department, but the reality is we have made those changes and we have streamlined the process and we get accolades, ladies and gentlemen, because of the process that we follow. We've had developers say that this has been the easiest planning department to deal with. You give us all of your concerns up front, and that's the way it should be, ladies and gentlemen. So we make sure we scrutinize, we tell them exactly what's required, and then they deliver, and they take out the building permits, and we get the jobs, and we get the economic activity. And that's exactly what we're going to do into the future. And I just want to address that again and again. Don't be misled by just the 10 million. What about the economic development that we've been able to attract because of it, ladies and gentlemen?
First of all, I'd like to go on the record that I am very proud to have students downtown. I don't think they're a handicap for us. Certainly, the university represents one of the greatest potentials that we have. Manufacturing isn't something that Canadians are wanting to see more and more of. That is going to be more difficult to keep our manufacturing jobs here. And we're extremely lucky to be able to expand GM right now and keep the jobs that we've got here. But we've got to take the university and run with that. We've got to be ahead of the curve. We've got to be planning ahead of the curve to be able to attract the kind of businesses that are doing the R&D with the university and be able to seamlessly deliver places for them to build. Similarly, we have to plan for the downtown to be able to expand there and have the students downtown. I would disagree. I think there still are some problems with our building department. I'm still hearing problems with them, perhaps in terms of residential development. We're seeing that be a seamless delivery and we're getting accolades for that. But in terms of individual companies coming in and trying to do something, or a smaller company or a smaller individual trying to expand their business, they're still running into the red tape. Perhaps what we have to do is expand our economic development department and have them lead people through that process. I think we have to grow a whole lot of patience. That's something where there's been a change in people having to do their own thing, having to create their own jobs. And in terms of spending practices, that's how we can also change our tax situation.